Hey, watch this episode on YouTube.
Two dudes watch cartoons. Two dudes watch cartoons. Two dudes watch cartoons. Two dudes watch cartoons. Yeah.
Welcome back to Two Dudes Watch Cartoons, the podcast where two dudes, that is us, watch cartoons. My name is Evan.
And my name is Alex. Today, we got an exciting one. We got a throwback for you. But before we do, just want to take a moment, and I want to thank all of you. We, at the top of last episode, asked that you kindly go to our YouTube, subscribe, watch a video there, and boy, did y'all listen. I'm super grateful. I did not expect us just asking at the top of the podcast to have the results that it did. We are asking once more. We're trying to do a lot of stuff on YouTube, but we want to thank everyone who, only needed the one time for us to tell you. You guys are the real MVPs.
Yeah. We appreciate you guys going and subscribing. We've gotten some nice comments. People went back and watched the Knuckles review.
Whoa!
A couple weeks later.
Real fans.
Yeah, the long tail views are pretty few and far between, but we appreciate it,
Tell me people aren't finishing the Knuckles podcast? I'm shook. What the fuck? Okay.
It's a good watch. But thank you nonetheless.
Today, we got an exciting one. I'm excited to go over this. We're covering old movie. I think it says 2006. Mm-hmm. Happy Feet. I don't know how to do little tapping. I don't think that's the right way to go about this. But Happy Feet.
You gotta get your feet on camera.
Yeah, no, not happening. Okay.
That's for our premium tier subscribers.
Yeah, you got to pay a different tier for that kind of feet action. Okay, so Happy Feet, 2006, says comedy/musical. And I'll tell you, Evan, while some of the vibes were comedy/musical, there was some dark vibes towards the end of this movie, I feel like. Shit got real. We'll get into it. I'm excited. Talk to me about this movie, your history with it. What do you think?
Yeah, so 2006, I remember loving, I don't know if I saw it in theaters or just got it on DVD eventually, but I remember really enjoying it. It's probably more so than I had expected at the time. And we would watch it pretty often at my house. Directed by George Miller, which was sort of the impetus for me suggesting it is because George Miller has a brand new movie out, Furiosa.
You're telling me you sat down and watched Mad Max Furiosa and you're like, we need to cover Happy Feet.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to watch. I really loved Fury Road. Fury Road, another rare instance of a movie I took Haley to see. And she absolutely loved it. And I was like, this movie? It's awesome, but it's so out of left field for her.
Interesting. Yeah, you weren't expecting that one. Oh, that makes sense why you love Mad Max so much then. Okay. So what I think is interesting about this is I feel like this movie is capitalizing on a couple of things going on in pop culture, in history.
Yeah.
One, a year before, we have March of the Penguins. You recall that movie where it's like a documentary movie about the penguins migrating? Huge hit. Huge hit.
And a year later, Surf's Up.
I was going to say we got Surf's Up. That's
got
around
twin
here.
films.
And you know what? There's one that I did my research. I came in swinging here. There's another group of penguins that are taking the world by storm right now.
Madagascar. We might have to do that next.
Dude, I was going through it. I was like, man, it's Penguin Mania. And this is shows how much TV I watched as a kid. I feel like as a kid, penguins were probably one of my favorite animals.
I feel like you said this about whatever angelfish.
I do. I love that fish. That was a specific incident, and I told you why I loved that goddamn angelfish. This is just a general love
in the movie.
I don't say that about every animal in every movie. Get the fuck out of here.
What was your history? Well, actually, before you answer that question, let me just run you through the numbers real quick. So it came out in 2006, 76% on Rotten Tomatoes, made $384.3 million on a budget of $100 million. not bad. And won the Oscar for Best Animated Picture.
Huge.
Wild.
Oscar-winning.
It's the fourth non-Disney or Pixar film to win that Oscar.
That's insane. But this movie deserves it. This movie feels like an Oscar award-winning movie, if I'm being honest. So with Happy Feet, like you, this movie in my house was on regularly, like quite often. We had a video game on the Wii. I feel like we played a lot. We were a Happy Feet household. Like we
I didn't know they made the foray into it.
We love this fucking movie. And so I have not seen it in years. And I'll be honest, when you suggested it, I was so hype. And then instant dread came over me. Because I go, does it hold up?
Shatter your, you don't want to shatter the illusion of your childhood
I
magic.
have no reference if this movie holds up or not. And so I'm here to say, you can watch this movie again. It holds up.
Great.
It's great.
Awesome.
It's really good.
I mean, let's just look at his voice cast, though.
Oh.
All-star voice cast.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Elijah Wood plays Mumble, the main character, the protagonist. Robin Williams, Brittany Murphy, Hugh Jackman, Nicole Kidman, Hugo Weaving. Steve Irwin is on there randomly.
Wow.
Robin Williams plays two
characters. And this is the first time in my life I've ever noticed that he's in both roles. I can't believe I missed it. But he's Ramon in the group of penguins, which we need to discuss. We need to dissect all of that. And then he's also the Lovelace. I don't remember his
Lovelace,
name.
yeah. Both great performances. Would they be considered problematic in this day and age?
We'll just get into it right now, dude. Robin Williams is giving his best Latinx performance as Ramon. And I'm not going to lie, he convinced me as a kid. I did not know it was him. Would 1,000% be canceled in today's day and age.
Hey, he does a good job. This is like... Susan Sarandon voicing that Asian psychiatrist on Rick and Morty. Sometimes the star power is just too good.
I have a feeling they got him in the booth for Lovelace. And he just started doing lines. They were like, should we put these in somewhere? They were like, we might.
Hey, Robin.
Like, that Ramon character actually was cast by someone else, and he just did all the lines. And they were like, I guess we gotta
Do you
keep
have any
this.
other voices you could try?
Why was we're just getting right into it. Why is this group of penguins? Also, there's accents throughout the world on Antarctica. Like, Mumble's dad has like a Memphis, like a southern draw. And then the leader has like a Scottish accent out of nowhere. And then these penguins in the different tribe, they all have like, I don't even know. They jumped around so much. And I was like, wow, there's really no rhyme or reason to this.
I wonder if it was geography based.
And it's also Elijah Wood, who has like the opposite of any accent.
He's the perfect everyman voice. Like,
Yep.
Once they age up to and he starts playing Mumble, it's like it's instantly recognizable.
Did you recognize young Mumble's voice?
I did not. Who voices young Mumble?
One of the most iconic baby voices of all time. It's Tommy Pickles.
Tommy, I don't know who voices Tommy Pickles.
Oh, I don't know. I just know it's the voice of Tommy Pickles. I'm sorry.
Okay.
No. You're like, I don't know their name. And I was like, oh, I was just looking for Tommy Pickles. I just recognized that it was Tommy.
Yeah. It seemed familiar to me. Haven't watched we should do Rugrats movie at some point. That would be fun. Rugrats in Paris?
Dude, another one. Rugrats in Paris is a great fucking movie.
Wait, so you didn't know George Miller directed this, or had you not connected the dots?
Hadn't connected the dots. Well, and honestly, as a kid, I'll be honest, didn't give a shit about directors.
Same. Also, I really was not familiar with George Miller as a director until
You're just going through his Wikipedia after. Okay.
Yeah, after watching that movie. But Happy Feet, Babe, the pig.
Oh, that's pretty impressive.
It also has me very excited to see Furiosa because I've only heard great things about it, and I loved Fury Road. And Hideo Kojima is going crazy about Furiosa
So you got
in his Twitter
okay.
reviews.
So yeah, the cast is great. Another shout out I want to give, besides Elijah and Robin, is Brittany Murphy. She is a voice on one of my favorite TV shows, King of the Hill. She plays Lou Ann. Brittany Murphy is also passed away. Kind of a
Rest in
famous.
peace.
Yeah, R.I.P. Great actress though. Really talented, and kind of a famous true crime story. Kind of some interesting stuff there, but we won't get to it. Yeah, it's
What's the
kind of
cliff
wild.
notes? It's been a while. Questionable circumstances.
Yeah. And then Nicole Kidman, she's everywhere right now, baby, with those AMC ads. And then
Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman. George Miller's an Australian director, so cast the only other two well-known Australian people.
you just blew my mind, but that makes so much sense.
Yeah,
Those Aussies. Okay.
you know who plays Mad Max in the original, the 80s films?
No.
Mel Gibson, who's
I
Australian.
I did know that. I always forget he's
now
Australian
very
because he's like so hateful. Like, how many Australians do you know that are that hateful? They're usually like so chill.
Yeah, they seem so chill. Yeah, Mel Gibson didn't make the cut for this.
They didn't bring him to this one? Okay. He wasn't in Happy Feet.
George, you gotta get me in this.
So the movie follows.
There's no
a
Jewish
group
people,
of-
and there's no Jewish penguins out there.
Oh, okay. The movie opens in Antarctica.
That was me. To clarify to the listeners, that was me pretending to be anti-Semitic Mel Gibson.
As Mel Gibson.
As Mel Gibson.
You got to
As a
clarify with
character,
these.
as a
Yeah, you got to
character.
clarify.
Yeah.
The movie. All right. Okay. I'm trying to see who did Steve Irwin play? Okay, no, I'll look that up. So the movie opens in Antarctica, following a group of emperor penguins. Evan, are emperor penguins like the classic?
They're the
thing
quintessential penguin, right?
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, just making sure. And very, very accurate to penguin life. They have the penguin egg, and the mothers go away hunting, and the dads just take care of the egg. And there is something so comical about Hugh Jackman Elvis taking care of this baby egg. I don't know what it is. It's so funny.
The beginning sequence, the part where Hugh Jackman is taking care of the egg, and there's the little mishap with he drops the egg. You're supposed to hold on to the egg, keep it warm, so it doesn't, fall prey to the cold, the Arctic cold. But Hugh Jackman as Memphis briefly drops the egg, and Mumble comes out with a disability of sorts, or at least in this penguin society.
So, as a kid, I actually never connected that his dad. I mean, I know his dad mentions it, but I kind of thought it was how do I put this? I kind of thought the dad was projecting. So, but watching it back, Mumble definitely has some sort of disability, probably. But we totally skipped over the opening love scene. All the penguins are stellar singers.
Yes.
This is what I'm saying.
That's the premise. It's emperor penguin hierarchical status is decided by musical talent and how well you can sing. And Mumble having this shiver step, he comes out of his egg shivering and turns it into a little tap dance. But
turns it into a little tap dance. He's not much of a singer, but he's
not much of a singer.
Got a song in his heart regardless, and it just comes out through his feet.
What was the opening number? So it is a movie musical.
It's a movie musical. That's what I just like. There's so many of these songs that I associate with this movie. I feel like.
Yeah. Is it Kiss?
Oh,
does it start with Prince, or is it a different Prince song?
No, yeah. Starts. Yes, yeah.
I know they're all
bops. They're all so good.
It's the magic of watching this movie is watching. It's like when Glee first came out. It's the same high.
High School Musical. People were just eating this shit up.
But it's they use popular contemporary music, which I feel like we don't see as often anymore in animated movie musicals. I'm trying to think. Sing Street is maybe a more recent.
Sing is, I think they still do it. Maybe it's not as common. I think sometimes what we get, and I don't know why this is where my mind's going, but like with a Zootopia, Shakira like made an original song for
okay.
it. So, maybe that happens a little more. But I totally get what you're saying is this movie probably had an insane music budget, because that was like what was holding down most of the movie was the great musical numbers.
And it's done to great effect. They have like medleys. They mash some of these songs together.
It is Glee. You're right. It's Penguin Glee.
It's Glee, but there's another movie that it reminds me of that's one of my favorite movies of all time that Nicole Kidman is also in, is Moulin Rouge. It's like romantic, big sweeping movie musicals, and even the last sequence at the end, like the montage of like the what's happening in the real world as the story hits the news, it has that same sort of zany, like, I don't know, chaotic.
I kind of got some La La Land vibe feels when he's like getting everyone to start dancing with him. I was like, oh yeah, I can see that. This is like the musical number on the bridge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But if you're into any of those things, if you like movie musicals, you're gonna love this. What else is on? Boogie Wonderland, Kiss by Prince, the aforementioned.
Boogie Wonderland. If we're trying to do YouTube, I don't think I could do that.
Boys to Men. Was there a Boys to Men song on there? Maybe not.
Definitely was.
Okay. Anyways, great songs.
Music, 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
But they were just singing and kind of wobbling around. We really needed the added choreography.
Absolutely.
Mumble took this production to the next level.
Yeah. So with Mumble's origin with his dad getting dropped, I had the thought crossed my mind, is this movie essentially just Finding Nemo literally on ice?
Is this movie just Finding
Gets
Nemo?
abducted by humans, makes the return.
Yeah, but
it's not one-to-one.
The timeline's not perfect, but I understand the premise.
Yeah. Okay, it's there. There's something there.
Memphis did not cross the ocean to go find his son.
That's true. Memphis did not give a fuck.
Memphis just sat there with his guilt and was like, okay. So, but Mumble grows up, and another sign that something is different about Mumble is he does not molt like properly with the rest of the penguins. He still has like his baby feathers.
Storytelling wise is very helpful because the rest of them you don't know who the fuck is who.
I was gonna say I never really caught it as a kid, but as an adult you're like, man, they really different. His mom's got a little heart tattoo.
Yeah.
His dad looks like Elvis. Like they do a good job of distinguishing the penguins we need to. They made Gloria the only hot one. Someone had to say it.
Someone had to say it. Was she a hot penguin, or was it just Brittany Murphy's voice?
Yeah, both. Okay, so his lifelong friend. We get a funny scene of them trying to learn songs as a kid, and man, that music teacher, after one attempt of Mumble trying to sing, was like, a penguin with no song in their heart is no penguin at all. I was like, whoa! Like, it was his first try.
Yeah.
Like, cut him a... Like, granted, look, she was right. He didn't have a song in his heart, but how could she tell after one attempt?
That part is so funny to me. When Gloria's singing, like, the song of her heart, it's Somebody to Love. Queen. Glee also does a great rendition. So he gets, like, outcast from the group then, but then does he just... Like, does his chunk of ice just break off while he's asleep? Like, he's not actually cast off. He just... Global warming gets him, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he was, like... He physically removed himself from, like, the party, like, after graduation.
Gotcha.
And, yeah, it did... He was like, all right, guys. And you were like, whoa, did you just, like, chill on this ice too long? And it floated away? Yeah, but I do really love that scene of them all jumping into the water and swimming and catching fish. Just a great like action sequence. Like this movie. Also, I'll ask you this: what do you think of the animation of the movie?
I thought it holds up pretty well for 2006.
I said the same thing. I go, this animation's pretty good actually for like
because they don't do the Disneyification thing or the Pixar-ification where they're not like
they try to make it a little more realistic.
Penguins. They're just penguins essentially.
this could fall into like uncanny valley territory, but it doesn't for me. I actually really like it.
Yeah, and even like you said, there are certain specific touches to some of the Penguin characters to help you differentiate them. But then there are like character elements interlaced in that too. Like Lovelace, his eyes are a little like red and like fucked up, and you can see like the sort of sorrow or despair in his eyes. And the older Hugo Weaving elder looks sort of gaunt.
Yeah, he's got like almost a hunchback.
Is it implied that Hugh's abducted by the humans at one point, or because?
Oh, I didn't catch that, because he did at one point like kind of admit he knew they were there, but he was like, "No, it's not real." No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I don't know.
They might be alluding to like some reveal coming up, but that was interesting.
There was definitely like a generational message here.
Sure.
But I thought it was so funny that it was like, it's aliens like that. Like that was another thing that really threw me for a loop on a second watch, was him, like the whole second half of the movie is him going to find aliens, which we understand is
great.
us.
I love,
not us, but like, wow, it's an alien mission.
it's one of those metaphors that like seems rather obvious, but like because they like layered in well and like it slowly, it doesn't come off super corny. Like the mystery, the it's the touch the butt moment, but it's not like a cutesy touch the butt, and it's like a little catchphrase for the character.
Yeah, no, I totally get what you mean, and I think that it feels like there's not going to be any humans in the movie, so it actually is quite a bit of a jarring moment when he does see humans and get taken to the zoo, because like you're like, damn, I didn't think this kid's movie was gonna go here. And
the two people he does see in the tank, they do look pretty fucking weird. They're like Stepford wives.
Yeah.
Looking.
Yeah.
As alien as Australians could look.
You think they're Australian?
Oh yeah, I guess we don't know for a fact where the zoo is. That's my guess.
You're just assuming.
I'm just assuming that's where this production was made.
Okay, so Mumble is different than all the other penguins. Why do you think his parents named him Mumble?
It's because, I don't know. Yeah, really not starting him
Is
off
there
on a great
some
foot.
symbolism there? Yeah.
I guess just because he can't sing or has trouble speaking, maybe he's a meek voice.
Yeah. I don't know. I was like, that's kind of mean to do. That, like, calling, like, I don't even know. Like, I don't think that's very kind to call a kid Mumble. Hey, Mumble.
Yeah. But I'd be interested on your read of you were saying how Memphis sort of projects on his son the sort of like the don't dance dynamic, but that's where like the metaphor gets.
We don't do that around here.
It felt
that's not what penguins do, son. You like that? I was working on it earlier. Some real footloose energy, like you were saying.
Yeah, real footloose energy, but like that's where the metaphor got a little mixed for me, because if you're reading Mumble's dancing as he's born with it as like Nemo's flipper or a disability of sorts, it's not something behavioral like Memphis seems to assume. You know what I mean? But Memphis is treating it like it's like
it's his choice to be dancing. The dad.
And like the metaphor I was seeing was like being queer, essentially. You know,
yeah.
And maybe it's just the time of year. I think that is
part of the argument.
Or like
the older generation are a lot of them like, stop it.
Yeah.
Like, stop dancing.
Or maybe it's gender norms, maybe that it's playing into. But it felt relevant. You know, this week is the beginning of Pride Month, so I guess maybe that was just top of mind. But
yeah, no, that makes sense. I think there is some sort of some strong metaphor there, because then once Memphis does, chastise his son enough to the point that he leaves, he's riddled with all this guilt, and you know what I mean? And then mom's like, dance with him. So I think you might be onto something.
Hey, George Miller is tackling the world. There's a little bit of environmentalism in all of his
I actually think that the main message probably somehow is environmentalism, even though it does not get introduced till like halfway through the movie.
Yeah, well...
And then there's also... Okay, at first, It's like, son, penguins don't do that around here with them feet. Yeah, which is really funny because that's actually what they all said to Elvis. They're like, why is he moving like that? Stop dancing like that. That's actually, I'm just now putting that together. That's pretty funny. Elvis being the one like, oh, don't do that. There's all this, like, we don't do that. That's not what we do here. And the elders are even like, that's not how these penguins shall behave. We sing songs around these parts. And they chastise him. But then at the end of the movie, the elders like, that's why all the fish are gone. And I was like, hold on. Whoa. Where are you getting this? Like, there was no, like, from A to C. There was no B. There was no point B for the elder penguin why he was thinking that.
Sure. But, yeah, and if we want to relate this to maybe the potential metaphors that are more subtle, we can see it as how more conservative factions of the country blame the problems of the nation on the other, whether that be queer or an ethnic minority, immigrants. Damn, George Miller, you're onto something here.
He's changing the world one penguin at a time.
One penguin at a time. One happy foot at a time.
I did think it was really funny when Bumble comes back and they were like, you spoke to the aliens? He goes, well, they don't speak penguin, but... And I was like, I don't know why. That literally made me burst out laughing.
Yeah, it gets pretty zany towards the end. And it picks... Yeah, I guess he really goes through a journey because first he gets outcast and he meets the Hispanic penguin.
Why? Okay, now we're just talking about it. I don't understand why they were Hispanic. Were all of their penguins? I don't think all, because Lovelace wasn't. It's just this little group of Hispanic penguins.
I think the females were Latinx in that.
Yeah,
in
they
that
were.
group
They
too.
were. They probably were. You're right.
Yeah.
But like, I just feel like they were like, we can't have them be too secret agent like. They can't just be a group of penguins.
I think it is again sort of supposed to be like a sort of
We're missing
geographical
something. They're
thing.
different. Yeah, they're
'Cause
like we're South Pole penguins.
They're in a warmer
yeah,
climate. They are in a warmer
Okay.
climate.
Yeah, they do the
'Cause
love
they pick
stones. I did like going through the different penguin sort of rituals, if you will.
Which one was the stones your favorite? What were the other ones? Just
I mean,
the
I
songs?
can't sing,
Yeah.
so yeah, it was just the
songs
songs,
is
the
cool,
dancing,
yeah.
and the stones.
Yeah.
So I guess we didn't go through that many.
So in the South or wherever we meet,
There's no way he went all the way to the South.
they start in the South though. They're
Is
it's just
Antarctica South?
yeah.
What's North Pole? Oh, you're right. You're right. Shit. I'll humble myself on the podcast.
It's like you didn't even watch
That's fine.
Happy Feet.
Yeah.
They showed the map.
Did you
at the
even
end.
watch the movie? Yeah.
I know that because there's a line in the montage of like there's like politicians or something like the UN and one of them
That was so funny.
they're panning across different like sound bites of what people are saying, and this one guy's like, why do we care? It's just a bunch of flightless birds at the bottom of the world. I was like, what the fuck is this montage?
Oh my God. That's funny.
And then they say, we're stopping commercial fishing. Like, better than any environmental activism, just some dancing penguins set the world on fire.
It was
Spoiler
one
alert.
dancing penguin that started. Yeah.
That's
But,
the
like,
end of the movie.
here's the thing. You know what was really, I think, like a really powerful message, though?
Uh-huh.
No change was made until there was a viral video.
Another pop culture phenomena, the flash mob.
Yes. They were like, look at these penguins dancing. And everyone was like, save the penguins. Save the penguins. No more fishing. Yeah. Like,
It's it is an old movie because in that montage where the story takes the world by storm, it's just phones ringing. There's no Twitter notification sounds or things.
yeah, there's not like it had
Yeah,
Twitter.
no.
Yeah, it's ring, ring.
None of that.
Did you hear the news? Yeah. So I also like I said, I feel like it really sort of Trojan horsed this like less fish, environmentalism. Like it to me, it felt like they were almost writing as the movie was like going on. They were like, okay, now Mumble, now where does he go? And they're like, well, maybe there's less fish. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was really funny the way the story progressed. Like, I'd have to go back and watch, but I do not think there's any mention of a fish shortage until like it's a plot point.
It's when he gets cast out, right?
That's that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
That's the first time they really are talking about it.
Yeah. That's
You know what? They might discuss it briefly when all the women go away and they're taking their time to come back. They're like, there's less and less fish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Evan and I are wannabe movie critics. We're also wannabe chefs.
We're all doing more cooking at home now. If you want to elevate your home cooking, you need nice tools to do it. Louis Kitchenware will get you there. They have beautiful stainless steel pans, non-stick bakeware, knives, all the stuff you need. Safe, high-quality materials, constructed to last, made in the United States, founded in Detroit.
Moving into my condo, we got hand-me-downs. So this new Louis Kitchenware has been great, and we love the discount. We want to share that with our listeners.
You can use code 2DUDES, that's TWO dudes, at louiskitchenware.com, and that'll give you 10% off anything on the site.
Check out our link in bio.
Two dudes watch cartoons. Yeah.
Did you ever watch March of the Penguins? I don't think I ever actually saw it.
If I saw it, I probably saw it in theaters once back then.
Okay.
And was like, wow. And then now I just watch like Planet Earth sometimes.
That's very, yeah. That was it.
Same concept.
It was at an age in my life where documentaries seemed too serious, you know? I haven't
They needed a
caught that one yet.
voiceover on those penguins. Dad! And then then Elvis comes in. Hey, we don't do that.
We don't do that with our face.
That was better. Oh, that was the one. That was the one right there. You even had your cheeks jiggling a little.
Where's Austin Butler? Taking his job.
You know what? Hugh Jackman, though, if I didn't know, like, he did a
Can't tell it's
phenomenal
him.
job.
Can't tell it's him.
Tell it's him.
I also forget that he's just like is a Broadway star at times. And there's this tweet when Deadpool vs. Wolverine was announced. It was announced that he was going to be reprising the role of Wolverine. Someone posted like, I find it so like kind of sad or entertaining that like every few years this man has to take an ungodly amount of steroids to be in one of these movies, but he just like his heart lies in just making little musicals or being on Broadway.
All he wants
That's
to
all
do
he
is
wants
sing
to do
little
is sing his
songs and
heart
dance
out.
little songs. And he's like, I got to do one of these
Maybe
every
that's
couple
why
years.
he took on the father role. The role of Memphis is the industry to Hugh Jackman saying, you have to be Wolverine. You have to be
I
Wolverine.
just want to dance.
We
I
don't
just
do
wanna
that
dance.
with our claws.
He's like, Hollywood, I just want to sing and dance. And they're like, stab someone.
Have the worst sideburns.
And they like really went in on like the bad sideburns back in the day. Like
Oh,
now
yeah.
they've kind of cooled them up.
Yeah.
But like back in the day, they were just like, nope, this is it.
Oh man, they really made
There's
it.
like parts of the sideburn that's like like thicker than the sides of his hair, and I'm like, that's bad. That's really bad.
He was having a crisis of conscience, like, and decide after X2. This is probably somewhere in that mix. X2 was probably 2004.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. Maybe
Okay.
2002.
So while we're on the topic, how many times did they ask Hugh Jackman to reprise Wolverine before he said yes?
I don't know. Logan came out 2017, I want to say, and it's
Yeah.
now 2024.
Yeah. So how many times do you
every
think they asked?
instance, every year in between there.
You think once every year they
Marvel
asked him?
movie, Yeah.
So 2018, 2019,
Every
2020,
script Marvel produced, Kevin Feige's like, "Hey, offers on the table. We'll write you in. You'll pop into Thor: Love and Thunder for 5 minutes and then pop right back out."
He goes, we can make it happen. Yeah, he's in space. We'll get you in Thor: Love and Thunder.
We'll
I don't
get
know
you
how
in
we'll
there,
do
yeah.
it. You're in. Kang and Ant-Man, you could be down there. I don't know. We'll get you in Wakanda. Yeah, you could be there. Yeah, I agree. But so
Adamantium, yeah.
Hugh Jackman, though, is one of my faves. And I think this is part of the reason why. Like, he is such a theater nerd, but at the end of the day, like, there's a huge population out there that's like, that's Wolverine. Like, you know what I mean? That's all they know him as.
They only know him as that. I feel like there must be factions. There's people only know him as Wolverine. People know his like Broadway musical work. And there's probably a good chunk of people, probably some overlap here with the Broadway musical people who know him as the Greatest Showman.
Yeah, I was
which
gonna
is,
say.
like,
I was thinking Greatest
took off.
Showman. Maybe the.
Who
they
are
get,
those two
he gets a-
TikTokers? You know, the
What?
one,
I don't
the
know.
two guys that talk to each other. One wears like a Spider-Man zip-up hoodie, and he's like, what was he talking about? Killers of the Flower Moon, maybe? He was talking about like a more serious movie, and it's like, this wasn't even as entertaining as The Greatest Showman. You,
I was wondering where this is going, but okay, thank you. That's funny. Um,
there's different audiences. I don't know. You know,
we
the
have a
guys I'm
friend. I
talking
won't
about.
disclose, but like in adult life, we had a friend that was like watching The Greatest Showman like once a week for a while, and I was like, "Why are you doing this?"
Wait, you're gonna have to remind me who that was.
I was like, "Why are you watching this movie again?" He's like, "I love it." I was like,
I mean,
"Okay, I guess."
Those movies hit on that didn't use that had like original music though, right? Or did
Yes,
it also
yeah,
mix
yeah.
in? I was gonna say
No,
earlier
that was-
the other
yeah.
more recent example, Pitch Perfect.
There's a Pitch Perfect song. What's
Let's
the
talk
one
about-
Pitch Perfect?
And I wrote it down because I was like, how are they going to do this song? And they go,
They didn't,
let's
though.
talk about eggs, baby. I was like, oh, that's clever. Good job.
Oh,
Keep it
that's
PG.
good.
Yeah, those movies were
And it keeps the same
wildly
meaning.
popular. Deserved? I don't know. It was just a crazy pop culture phenomenon. So I had a roommate at one point. I will omit his name from the podcast. Once early in the morning, I woke up and they were sleeping on the couch with the TV on. I wake up and I hear Pitch Perfect. Clear as day. It's the year the
I
movie
already
came
know who
out
it
on
is.
DVD.
I actually know who it is now.
I come out. It's like 8 in the morning or something. I come out, or probably earlier. Come out into the living common area, and golf is just on the TV. I was like,
You're like,
"You're gonna
"What?"
pull a fast one on me? Like, are you trying to hide that you love this movie?" No judgment. It's a very fun movie. But like, why is it this guilty pleasure?
You're like, I know I was listening to Pitch Perfect a second ago, and now you're watching golf?
I felt insane. I was like, it was literal gaslighting. It was literal gaslighting.
Oh,
boy.
that's funny. Okay.
But this
okay,
taps
so-
into that same magic. Another movie this
It
made me
does.
think of, Drumline. It's just like, you ever with Nick
Oh,
Cannon?
I
something-
love Drumline.
Something about the
You know-
rhythm in unison just gets my blood pumping, dude. In Drumline, when he drops the drumsticks, that's the coolest shit ever. That's the coolest stuff. Movie moment.
You know, what I was going to say is I said, this is, I wrote in my notes, this is step up for people who aren't annoying.
Do annoying people love that movie? Because I love that movie.
I love Step Up, so yes, the annoying people do love.
Yeah.
I've seen every Step Up movie.
Yeah.
I've seen 0 Fast and Furious movies, and I've seen every Step Up.
There's
movie.
like 4? 3 or 4?
There's
I've
4.
maybe
There's
seen
4.
3.
The club can't even handle me. That's the 4th one.
I think I'm like a purist in that I love 1 the most. and then
Yeah, 2's good.
2 and
2's
on, they're all directed by John M. Chu, right? Yes.
once again, I was too young. Don't give a damn about them directors.
He was in the famous beef with this is a deep cut. Miley Cyrus and like the Jabberwockies had a dance battle beef at like it went back and forth. But John Chu directed the Jabberwockies side and like a lot of YouTube dancers, and they like it was like a big YouTube thing. There probably 3 or 4 videos exchanged. It was like modern day Kendrick versus Drake. It was
I can't believe this.
Miley Cyrus
and it was Miley Cyrus.
and the Jabberwockies.
who's not like known as a dancer, whereas the Jabberwockies are a dance crew.
Yeah, but so they each recruited. They like built these huge armies essentially of dancers that culminated in a like on stage battle or performance together at like the Teen Choice Awards or something.
I love the Jabberwockies, though.
Yeah.
So now we're on the topic of America's Best Dance Crew. I have a note here that I was not going to bring up, but so do you? There's a moment where Mumble's with the Hispanic penguins, and they're all doing like the slow-mo run walk from the seal lion. I go, this is just like Boreotics. I've seen this fucking move before.
You did not just name drop Boreotics. I fucking love.
I know. That America's Best Dance Crew, baby. Jabberwockies and them are all both winners of that show.
Wow, I didn't know you're so into it. That was my shit for a long time. I used to write. Do you remember Facebook notes? We're going everywhere.
Facebook notes, I do recall, yeah.
Back when those were popular, that's when ABDC was in its very first couple seasons. I would write reviews of each episode or each week of performance.
Oh man, that's good.
And maybe that's why I love this movie.
This is the energy this movie
Yeah.
encapsulates. And the only thing I don't like, and I get why they do it for entertainment value, there is a moment where Mumble gets everyone dancing, but then they still force him to leave. They're like, no. And I was like, but they all fucking loved it. What do you mean no?
Yeah.
But so this movie taps into all of that. Step Up, Jabberwockies, Boreotics. This movie is all about that.
Yeah. I think the great triumph of this movie is that in all of its messaging, in all of its over-the-top musicality and showmanship,
Yeah.
it manages to not be corny or too corny. Maybe it's
I agree.
It threads that needle pretty well.
There's some corny things,
There are definitely corny
but
things.
it's cute. It becomes cute, in my opinion, not corny.
Even though it feels very preachy at the end, maybe towards the end it sort of loses it a little bit, but throughout the movie, it I don't know, it's just it is infectious. When the first time he breaks out in dance and gets the whole flock dancing, I was smiling ear to ear. It's just fun. As I'm answering emails at work today with it on my second monitor, it's just a whole lot of fun. This movie.
He's like, dance with this. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, song and dance does go together. I'm fucking like a human being discovering things for the first time. I'm like, oh my God. They go together so
What is
well.
this witchcraft?
It's so funny though. But it's just fun. And like I said, there's a romance element, a coming of age element. There's fitting into a group, which I think at that age, everyone experiences somewhat of oh, I'm different from the rest of the group. And so I really just appreciated, even though it was probably just a technique so we could tell him apart from the other penguins, I appreciated that he was different from the rest of them. And you know what? And some people were a little more forgiving and flexible of that. But then at times, Gloria's just no, but don't sing though.
Yeah,
That was sad when he was breaking out in song with them. They're all graduated, and he didn't get to graduate either. I'm shocked they even let him go on the graduation party because he didn't graduate.
Is singing the only curriculum, the course?
Probably.
Yeah.
It's Glee.
Oh, when he comes back after his pilgrimage and he sees the little ones running around Gloria, he's oh, these are mine. Oh.
He has a moment where he has to say, no, get, boy. I don't want you. Because Gloria tries to leave with him. And he's like, this is no life for her. She can have a regular life without me.
Yeah. So much. Yeah. A lot is packed into 108 minutes. It's a tight 108. Well done.
They fit
George
in a
Miller.
lot. And let's talk about the ending here before we really wrap up, because the ending, I normally say this as an insult, but I don't mean this here. It's kind of like two movies.
Yeah.
It really feels like two movies towards me, because towards the end, he fucking is looking for the aliens, humans. He finds them. Or he washes up on the shore.
Yeah.
And you know what? It is probably fucking Australia if we're thinking about the logistics of all this.
The geography.
The geography of it. That's why before, if you could picture me thinking we're at the North Pole, I was like, why would we be in Australia? So, I'm sitting here now oh, that makes a lot of fucking sense, even though I was bashing him. So he washes up on shore, and he wakes up in an aquarium, and I'm not going to lie. Hold on, let me do some math. So I was 11, 12 when this movie came out. This might have ruined zoos for me.
I have a very similar feeling. Also, because of Lovelace, did you ever briefly get into snipping your soda?
Of course. Yeah, I don't even
plastic
think they make those
rings?
anymore, actually, if I'm being honest. Those
Because of
soda
this
plastic
movie,
rings.
probably.
Because of this movie.
Wow.
All because of
Bravo,
Happy
George.
Feet. Yeah. But yeah, for sure, would snap them. Because everyone saw the picture of the birds with them around
Yeah,
their
or
neck
the
and
turtle
body,
or
and they
some
can't
shit.
swim.
Or-
And so this one,
they have
and I love
turtles
how
with
he's
the
like,
straws
it's
up
my
their
lucky
nose."
talisman!
I guess maybe the plastic was shrinking. Why does it eventually start constricting his breath? I didn't really understand that.
I thought he was getting a little fatter as he was.
Okay.
I think he was becoming like a party animal.
Gotcha. Okay.
Too much sex, love, and rock and roll. And he was just getting out of shape a little.
Where would you rank this? I guess I can only think of 3 animated voice performances of Robin Williams between Jeannie, Lovelace. I guess Lovelace and Ramon will count him as 2, and Batty.
It's hard to top the Genie, I think. But I'll be honest, this is close. But I'm going to go Genie, Happy Feet, Batty. Batty's great, too, though. Robin Williams is just a gem. Like, he literally lightens up every project he's in just such... He's... God, me and Nikki were actually talking about this recently. Like, he's one of those celebrities that, like, I actually didn't understand being upset over a celebrity's death.
Until that happened.
I like actually cried, and I just think it's even more sad because like he was always he was making others so happy, and he was always portraying himself as such a happy-go-lucky, caring guy, and to find out he ended up taking his own life like due to depression is just like really jarring. It's one of those classic, you don't know what people are going through. June is also Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, so if you're going through it, make sure you talk to someone. Don't bottle it up inside.
Well,
Sorry
so-
to get real there.
No, that was-
I love Robin Williams.
Yeah,
though.
he is great.
Him and Elijah Wood.
Are they?
Have
what?
you ever watched Wilfred?
I haven't watched Will. I mean, I've seen like an episode or two.
So
but I didn't know
Wilfred's
he
in it, and him and Wilfred's favorite movie is Good Will Hunting. And then when spoilers, at one point Elijah Wood's character is kind of having like a trip, like he's a psychotic break, and Robin Williams is his therapist in the episode, and then at the end he's like, "This is just like Good Will Hunting," and it's like a real like mind fuck. But like they've worked on a couple of projects together. I actually really like that.
Yeah.
How about them apples?
And 2 deceased movie stars in this movie. Rest in peace, Brittany Murphy and Robin Williams.
Thank you for your work, your contribution, for making us smile. Luann Platter is one of the greatest animated characters of all time. She's like just dumb as rocks. Like King of the Hill is like super satirical, so sometimes it like I don't want to say goes over people's heads, but it just doesn't land the way it's supposed to always. But she's such a great part of the show.
I must have missed when you said that. I like totally did not know she voiced that.
Yeah, she is Luann in King of the Hill.
Wow.
And then she's in Pitch Perfect also.
Brittany Murphy is not.
Oh wait,
You're thinking
I
of
have to
Brittany
cut this out.
Snow.
I am. Damn it. I was
But
like,
Brittany
that timeline doesn't add
Brittany
up.
Murphy does voice Luann Platter, but Brittany Snow does not do
Cut
either.
that out. Cut this out, please.
Yeah.
I've looked stupid enough 3 times already this podcast.
I would agree with your ranking. Genie is hard to top, but I mean, like, if there were one other role to stand up to it, Lovelace and Ramon are I think he just has the liberty to he gets to be full.
You can tell he's having a
out.
lot of fun.
Yes.
But I also feel like that's part of what we loved about Batty, too. We were like, he's just going for it.
Yeah. They're all great.
They're all great. Okay. End of this movie, though, he gets trapped in a zoo, and it is horribly depressing. Like, it's really sad.
It's like a prison movie, essentially. Like, he's starving.
When he runs into the walls, it's like really, and the guy's like, jump in the water's real. And you're like, Jesus, is this feels insane asylum,
like,
is what it feels like.
Yeah. Welcome to heaven, Mumble.
It's really sad, and it really made zoos not as fun of a place for me as I used to love when I was a kid. So he goes there, and he ends up winning the people over by dancing.
Yeah.
that viral moment. You know, that little girl caught it on her phone.
Yeah.
Look at this dancing penguin.
The fake
And
out,
it was
too,
so pop.
It works.
What?
The fake out works where she runs away. He's so defeated. And she brings
She comes
the
back with
people.
her mom.
She brings the people.
Yeah.
Rallies the crowd.
And I just love the sound effect of his little feet on the ice. Like it's so I just love everything about it. But he gets so popular that he's able to transcend species to communicate his message. Like, we need your help. So they send him back home to where he is. They send a fucking tracker on. They got a tracker on his back. This is so inhumane. They're like, follow him.
He's
like,
a cyborg.
He'll take us to his colony. Like, imagine they wanted to fuck those penguins up. Like,
Yeah.
this is horrible. But they,
Isn't that what Clayton does to Tarzan when he lets him loose?
yeah, it is. It is. Oh my God. So he brings him back, and yeah, it was really sad when he's like, "Oh, which one's yours?" It's almost really jarring because he's like in the zoo dancing, and then he's just like home, and you're like, "Is this a dream again?" Like, I almost thought it wasn't real.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Which one's yours?" And he's with Ruben, who's like, "Don't push me," that guy, and she's like, "We run the dance school. He teaches rhythm, I teach blues." I was like, "Oh."
It's cute.
And then the quintessential moment where they all flash mob for the camera.
The people, and then the humans start flash mobbing too. And yeah,
But-
the movie does incorporate some like live action, like extras essentially.
You think those dudes at the end were real?
in the orange jacket? Yeah, very much so. One like
Okay, I
falls
didn't.
over, and
Yeah, I thought it was animated.
I don't think. I think they were real. I will.
Okay.
I'll double check.
The rest of the people were animated horribly. Why wouldn't we assume these four
All
were?
of the people were real. None of the people were animated.
Dude, the people in the aquarium when he's looking through the glass, those motherfuckers are all animated, or they're the creepiest looking people I've ever seen in my life.
This is what I was saying. They're all weird as fuck looking, but they're real.
No, they're not. They're animated. It's the uncanny valley, Evan. You're polar expressing.
I'm gonna look into it, but
Yeah,
they are
yeah,
very much
do
real.
it. Look it up. I'll take the fourth loss. I'll take the fourth loss if I don't think you're right at all.
They use real
That's all
humans.
fucking-
The film incorporates motion capture and live action humans in certain scenes.
I'll give you maybe men in orange jumpsuits at the end, but I'm not giving you aquarium, dude. The aquarium people were terrifying.
They were real, man, and that's
No,
why-
they weren't, because they'd have to credit them at the end. I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
I'm gonna keep click clacking away.
Just keep click clacking. I'll keep talking, I guess. I feel like that would be like so talked about because like when they do Who Framed Roger Rabbit or Space Jam, these are like huge marvels, and they didn't like pitch this as like we have real people and we have highly CGI. I think they're talking about like mocap for probably the dancers. They probably got tap dancers in mocap. They were like pretend to be a penguin, and they were like cha 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 cha.
No, because they have live action people at the end in the montage, anyways.
I think they're animated too.
All right, agree to disagree.
All right. Correct us in the comments, I guess. What do you think about your thoughts on the end of the movie, and we can move
Yeah,
on.
it takes a couple turns. It turns into this pilgrimage where he uncovers the wider world. It takes a really dark turn when he gets taken to the zoo, and then it all wraps up pretty quickly. And like, if you weren't getting the messages in the preceding 90 minutes, it'll throw it at you in the end in a quick montage. It's a little cheesy, it's a little over the top, but it wraps it up nicely. And I'm glad that that's not how the movie ends. They actually go back to the colony, and
Yeah.
he gets to have his moment and his reunions. And it ends with a big number, doesn't it? Yeah. So
Big number,
I'm glad they bring it
viral
back.
video.
All the numbers
lo-
hit.
All the numbers hit. I love it. I think this is such a joy, start to finish. It does take a bit of a curve, like I said. Like it could have been musical comedy the whole time, but it took a serious turn. I think it lands. I think like we said earlier, there's a lot going on in this movie, but at no time does it feel like overwhelming. And so I think that's really good. And I mean, I think this is a movie that I don't know the popularity of it past its era. I know there was like a Happy Feet moment in time. They made Happy Feet 2. Matt Damon's in it. I would love to see children watching this in like 10 to 20 years, but I don't know that'll be the case.
Yeah, I don't think it'll stand the test of time, but
I
it
don't
holds
either.
up. It holds up.
Yeah, I think it held up really well. I'd watch it again, in all honesty.
Okay, I'm on happyfeet.fandom.com.
I've just been stalling for this moment.
Trivia.
Go ahead, sir.
Look closely and you might think a little like the people are live motion captured in a CGI film, and they are indeed.
Their mocap is what they just said. I do like at the beginning and the end of the film they take us to space. I don't know why. I love looking at Earth from space, though. We kind of just did our closing thoughts.
Yeah.
Let's rate it, and we can go over a couple of letterbox reviews real quick.
Yeah, let me read this one real quick because it seems to encapsulate a lot of my thoughts, at least.
Okay.
Karst, 4 stars on Letterboxd, writes, baffled at how many people hate this movie on here. It has some duds, absolutely, but leave it to George Miller to make a kids movie this weird and big and gross and spiritual. I mean, there's barely a plot, but I couldn't care less as a kid, and I couldn't care less now. This is sort of what I was getting at earlier. There are a lot of reasons you could hate this movie. I don't know what sort of the consensus is now, like you were saying, but it's...
Man, a lot of these reviews are bad, though. I'm not going to lie.
That's fair.
Like, I won't finish this one. It says 1.5 stars, astonishingly bad. There is no story structure, and the characters are either flat or annoying. And I can kind of agree with no story structure, but the characters are neither flat nor annoying. Like, I don't know.
Maybe
there is little story
maybe
structure.
the racial characters, but
Maybe them. This one is 2 stars. These penguins are way too horny.
yeah, that's sort of the driving plot
premise.
device, I suppose.
2 stars. Penguins don't do that. Man, people don't like this movie.
I get that, and maybe those people are less forgiving of the corniness of it all. But I think watching it,
Oh my god,
as an experience, are you having an existential crisis?
they're trashing it. This is the first I'm reading the reviews, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Mad Max for dancing, dancing penguins. Mumble is literally me.
I think this movie is a joyous experience to watch.
Yeah.
Maybe it didn't deserve Best Animated. I don't know what else was in contention, but
Someone called it Fern Gully on Ice.
Fern Gully's, well, I don't know. I don't feel the overwhelming need to defend it, but I do want to say I had a good time watching it, and I can see why it would get flack in retrospect. So, I don't know.
Wow.
3.5, 3.75.
Yeah, I think that's
It's
good.
a fun time.
I do feel the need to defend this movie. I think that these reviews are like missing the point. I don't understand what's going on here. I've just listed what I like. This movie was joyous, had a great message. I had fun. I sang. I cried. I laughed. I danced, tapped my little heart out. It's not a perfect movie, but I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I had a great ass time.
Well done, Happy Feet.
Yeah, my feet are so happy.
I'm glad we watched this. This was
I'm
sort of
really
a random
glad we
pick of
did
the
this.
hat.
I don't know when else I would have.
Any news to cover? Well, there's one a couple, maybe a week or two ago. You'd sent me.
Comcast is looking at bundling Netflix, Max, and Peacock. And the big argument is that these streaming services are just turning into cable again. And I could not disagree more. This is nothing like cable. I don't understand why people are like, when streamers start like doing this thing now where, they'll add ads sometimes before their things. Oh, this is cable now. Or they'll bundle with other streaming services. This is cable now. No, it's not. And there's one big difference. When I just have cable TV, I am at the whim and the mercy of their fucking schedule. When I have streaming services, it's on my schedule. There's the difference, people. I don't care. Streaming can do all the things in the world they want to make all these changes. And everyone's like, it's cable now. It's just cable. We've reverted back to cable. It's fucking not. It's literally not. I don't understand how people can sit there and be like, this is cable TV now. Because it's nothing like cable TV. If you had to sit there as a kid and channel surf, you could not tell me channel surfing is 10 times different than going to the search function and typing in Shameless and watching 11 seasons in a row. It's not the same.
I understand why you are so heated. I think you are arguing perhaps a different point than what people are getting at, though. It's the cyclical,
Enlighten me.
It's the cyclical nature of these studios or streamers and their relationship to cable providers like Comcast. So prior to cable, Comcast or cable providers brings them all together under one umbrella for a low price of whatever, with an expansive, not library, but an expansive selection, no ads, right? Out of that, ads trickle in. Studios leave that to build their own things because they've seen Netflix make billions and billions of dollars, and they want to make as much money as they can on their own. But making money like that is hard. And now cable providers are coming back in, bundling them back up together into a package. So people, like, I feel like that metaphor, people saying they're reinventing the wheel or it's just becoming cable, they're just referring to the cyclical nature and not saying like the medium is the same, if you get what I mean.
I think people are stupid, so I don't know. I don't know that they're thinking as high a level as you're saying. I understand what you were saying when you describe it to me like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that the idiots on Twitter are saying
Sure.
that, but
It's just that-
I'll give you what you're saying.
History is repeating itself. It is the way I see it.
All right,
I
then.
understand your frustrations.
I'm excited.
Mr.
Someone
Pro.
said it's going to be $15 a month for those 3 fucking things. Are you kidding me? I'm doing it.
Your team's ass laugh. Ed Sarandos or whatever.
Let's not go that far. I've always been Team Netflix, and
Yeah.
this is before I was ever even on a Netflix show. Me and Evan, I don't like to brag because it sounds so hipstery and pretentious, but me and Evan were some of the first people to get into like Netflix streaming. Like when it was still a DVD rental thing, me and Evan figured out the fucking streaming thing, and then it was like before they had even done House of Cards. Me and Evan were like, oh yeah, we were ahead of the curve on that. And so I have always House of Cards, huge stan. Hold on. I was a huge House of Cards stan.
House
back
of Cards,
in the day.
big stand. Mel
Yeah.
Gibson, love him. P. Diddy, goat.
Okay, but like they did Arrested Development season 4. Like we were there in the trenches when it started, and we were like, hell yeah, we were all about this.
Yeah. And I mean, that was sort of the promise initially. I guess we're just talking about streaming in general. It's like premium, high quality shows, which was sort of the appeal of cable back in the day, right? You get premium quality programming, and that's what sort of Netflix started out with, and then HBO Max jumped, all the other ones jumped in and made their own original content pushes, but then the quality control lever is broken at this point, and everything's just shit. It's just more home reno shows or whatever the fuck, like that's flooding all of these, and now this is affecting companies as prestigious as Pixar and Disney.
Yeah.
And this has been a hot button.
You know what?
topic
That's
on
Disney.
Twitter.
I saw a tweet just the other day. We're on the topic of streaming services. Said it is crazy that Disney Plus was able to tank the brand reputation of Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars in the matter of like 2 years.
Yeah, it's a matter of quality control, and so there's a discourse going online right now, where an exec is quoted saying Pixar is now focusing on films with quote unquote clear mass appeal, with less focus on directors telling quote unquote autobiographical tales, and they used examples of Luca, of Turning Red. But what I don't understand about sort of this corporate reassessment of the content landscape at Disney and at Pixar is like Pixar, they seem to be ignoring the historical context of what happened in the last 4 years to make
I agree.
Luca and Turning Red underperformers. Elemental, that was the other example of like an autobiographical director based story, and that was one of their Disney's highest grossing animated
Yeah, but they
performance at the
still
box office.
stick on that opening weekend, which is so wild that it performed so poorly at the beginning.
But need I remind you or our listeners, or more specifically, Disney execs, Luca and Turning Red didn't get theatrical releases.
They didn't even
What are
release
you
in theaters, so
expecting these
how-
movies to do?
What's the benchmark? Yeah, I don't understand
This
how
is
they
our
expect it to be.
and all that Zaz segment.
I
Bob
don't
Iger
understand
edition.
how they would ever expect those two movies to have the same appeal as any of their other Pixar movies, because, like you said, it only premiered on Disney Plus. It's limited by that barrier to entry right then and there. Anyone can go to the theaters. Not everyone can get Disney Plus, and not everyone will get Disney Plus.
And
And not everyone
Their
who has
biggest
Disney
dud-
Plus will watch it. Yeah.
their biggest dud in the last couple of years is Pixar, or is Lightyear, which
yeah,
is
that's-
a
yeah.
sequel of one of their huge storied franchises, and not
And
one
it
of
sounds
these.
like that's what they're Yeah, I saw they were like, we want to do more Incredibles
They
and
want to double
Monsters
down on
Inc.
sequels, and like,
I was like,
sure, I get
"Jeez."
that, but the content landscape is even affecting a prestigious studio like Pixar, which is unfortunate.
We are in the midst of an evolution. The death of DVDs has changed the movie industry. It has changed the TV. Well, and then streaming has changed the television industry. So we are in the midst, because Hollywood, especially for America, has been a juggernaut of an export, technically. You know what I mean? Hollywood movies and media is an export for America. And with the landscape changing, I could see some very large shifts coming in that regard. That's just me talking, actually more like economic than anything. Like it was doing such almost too big to fail. It feels like, and it looks like we're on the teetering end of like, could it fail? You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is sort of related. Also recently announced 14% of Pixar's employees are getting laid off as part of cost cutting measures. So like, I don't know, there's probably greater macroeconomic forces at play, but like outlook is bleak at the moment.
Things aren't looking good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Luckily,
Let's end on a positive note. This is Happy Feet.
yeah.
One Piece season 2 and 3 is being filmed back to back. I think that's a win for Netflix streaming services. That's a good sign.
Yeah, they don't make bets like Stranger Things maybe was something they announced multiple
something
seasons
they've
of.
done like that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But normally they'll announce seasons back to back, but they do not film back to back like this. Like it sounds like they're just going to film 2 and 3 contiguously.
Yeah. I mean,
Is that the word?
continuously.
Yeah,
Contiguously works.
I don't know what I fucking just said. Oh,
Maybe
please.
you were thinking contiguous. That's like when
yes, yeah.
they're connected.
That
like
yes,
the
they
contiguous
are.
United States. Hey, if you're listening, let me know if I'm using that word correctly, because I also.
We're asking a lot of our audience today. Let's
Yeah.
get out of here. Let's wrap this up. You have anything else?
Well, I found the streaming bundle. It's $15 a month. You'll be able to get Peacock, Netflix, and Apple TV Plus.
Oh, I said Max. You know what? Peacock and Netflix are holding it down there. Apple TV is like high highs and then like nothing.
Peacock, you get the Bravo stuff, and that's
Peacock's, you know what? Peacock's really swinging hard, if I'm being honest. Their reality TV hits. They got all of NBC's stuff. They have the Bravo stuff, like you said. They're sneaking up there. For being such a latecomer, they really they rock it out. And I think, honestly, a big part of it is having The Office. I really think The Office is such a juggernaut when it comes to streaming.
It's a good point. In other streaming related news, I believe Paramount Plus and Skydance have reached an acquisition
Saw
deal.
that.
So
Yeah. Interesting.
the
I think that's a
landscape
good
is
sign.
shifting. It's Game of Thronesian.
I'm betting on Netflix, the
Kingdoms
original,
are
the OG.
changing. Yeah.
Who, if Game of Thrones, this is not realistic at all. Only one streaming service wins. Who do you got your money on?
Who do I have my money on, or who do I want to win?
Who do you have your money on? Well, I mean, is it different?
Yeah. I feel like Netflix would be Baratheons, maybe.
Yeah, yes, they were the kings.
They're
correct.
respectable, but they're not the ones you're rooting for. Who would be the Starks?
The Starks are probably like HBO, because HBO like has that long-standing history even before streaming was around.
Sure.
Like HBO's been like a household name for well before streaming.
And then
now that they're in the streaming area, they're fighting for their lives very honorably.
They're fucked by foreign.
And they do keep getting fucked by foreign entities. I think it's Max. I think Max is the Starks.
That would be who I root for. I hope there's a resurgence in the quality, a return to glory, I should say.
HBO Max was the Starks before Game of Thrones, and Max is them like middle of the show right now.
Yeah, one of those.
They've
two.
lost a couple limbs.
Hulu's okay as an offering.
Hulu's
pretty good.
Hulu is like I'm trying to. Hulu's almost like the Daenerys, where there's people that are probably like, it could be Hulu, it's gonna be Hulu, and Hulu's always in the conversation, but they're just like they're on a different continent almost.
Are they the desert, the Pedro Pascal of whatever?
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe that could be a good comparison.
And
I'm thinking like someone that's always right there could be on the Iron Throne, just isn't.
Prime would be. Who would Prime be?
Prime.
I haven't watched Game of Thrones.
It's been a minute. Yeah,
it's been a second.
Prime could be like. I don't know. We're in the weeds. Let's get out of here.
What's the kingdom at sea that the son gets turned into like he gets snipped? That family, the Greyjoys.
Theo Greyjoy. That's Prime. Yeah, that's Prime.
Okay, thank you for sticking around for this damn conversation.
Let us know what Game of Thrones house you think each streamer is in the comments.
If you haven't watched Happy Feet in a long time, you can rent it for like $4 on
the Greyjoys,
wherever. Any of the streaming services. You could probably also find it on like a kisscartoon.whatever domain spot. Do a quick Google search.
Check it out.
They're
cool.
Yeah, they're cool.
Or
so I've heard.
So I've heard. All right, I'm gonna wrap us up. You done?
Yes, I am.
If you had your fill, okay. If you enjoyed this episode, please go check out more. We have a ton in our backlog. You can listen on Apple, Spotify, and on YouTube, like I mentioned before. Please follow us at Two Dudes Watch Cartoons on both Instagram and TikTok, and make sure you like and review wherever you're listening at. And just thanks for sticking around for the madness. How much Happy Feet we talked about, I don't know, but I hope you enjoyed.
We leave a little mystery so you can go back and enjoy it for yourself. That'll do it for this episode of Two Dudes Watch Cartoons. We will catch you next time.
Two dudes watch cartoons.
That was my drumline moment.
Yeah.
Drop the mic.